All right. So I want to talk about feints. So we've discussed feints before. This hopefully will be a quick video, just a reinforcement on the topic of feints and feinting and what they're used for. Feints can be used to obviously set up offense. You throw a feint, you see what the opponent does, and then you sort of start collecting data, and you can hit. You feint downstairs, you hit upstairs. You feint upstairs, you can hit downstairs. You slip left, make them think you're doing something that way. You come back with a slip right with a punch. Things to that nature. There's also the idea too of when we feint, feinting for position, not just always thinking about the punch, thinking about the position. So, for example, we slow step to the right, slow step to the right, and then an explosive pivot out to the left, and then a dot 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 to the left, or something where we feint a type of movement and then a new position. So those are just certain ideas on the topic of feints. What I want to talk about specifically here is our feint effort, not just if you want to sell the feint, you really got to sell the feint. And we need to do more selling of the feints in our practice. And I just have a couple of things to go over here. So we're going to start with our first thing, and hopefully this gets on. I'm not even sure this recording's going to make it through. Because of, like, first of all, who I'm going to be showing next, which is we're going to hear just from Teddy Atlas. And Teddy's just going to talk to us. Dynamic Striking has a product about the lost art of feinting, something that you can purchase from Dynamic Striking. Give them a little ad here. But I want you to listen to what Teddy says.
The lost art of feinting. You don't see that a lot. Making somebody do what you want them to do. And there's different reasons and different ways to do it. In this one, well, you're fighting an opponent that has good legs, like a Lomachenko or a Usyk who just won the heavyweight title. And every time you go to throw, they step out on you and they make you miss. They make you reach. So what do? Well, a little bit with your foot and a little bit with your upper hand, like you're testing the water in a pool. Let them think you're coming in. And then they make the move too soon, a little prematurely. And then instead of being in the lurch, well, you know where they are. You know where to find them. So a little feint, you know where to find them. Bang, 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 bang. You close the door on them. And you don't get left out of position. The art of feinting.
So what I like there is Teddy talks about position at the end. So what we're going to watch now, before we get into some of the boxing feint discussion, I want you to watch, just for basketball, the pump fake. So if you watch this young man, number 10, beautiful pump, like, just watch how he works his feints and watch the reaction he gets. That's a great pump feint right there. Right there. Draws the foul even. Even fakes out the cameraman on that one. So that's an example of a basketball feint. Let's watch, let me find the Kobe one. Here's, of course, the great Kobe Bryant. You look at the effort. So you could see he's making the big effort in the pump fake. And that's the same when we're fighting, we really got to sell that feint. Now, conversely, let's take a look at a feint where there's not a, I like this one, where there's not a lock behind it. What I love about that one is it's so subtle and simple. I'm going to watch this one more time. Watch the defender in red. Watch his head. Watch his head. He just looks at the basket just to see how the rebound's going to go. I love that feint. So when we talk about, here's an interesting one about different feints.
Mind games with your opponent.
So you got hand feints, foot feints, eye feints, which are really very difficult. Trunk feints are the name that they're calling it. Level change feints. I love a good level change feints. I think level change feints are really good. I like the hand feints and the level change feints. And I think those can be helpful for us as well. And then we have I love a good up jab. So if we watch this one.
About the power of setting traps through feints. How to set up the up jab. Touch, shoot. And the last one, touch up, boom. There it is.
I love the tuck shoot. These are something what we could do is as we're doing Shakur taps, we could tap, boom. As we're doing, Crawford taps, it's the, going from light to hard or even from hard to light and then into a new position.
I'm going to talk about the
So we'll
power
just
of
watch
setting
one more
traps through
time.
feints. How to set up the up jab. Touch, shoot. And the last one, touch up, boom.
See, I love that. I love a good. We're gonna watch it one more time because I really like the jab to the belly feints, or you touch upstairs and hit downstairs. I really like that one. Let's see if we can get back to that one. Touch, boom, and see that little freeze. One more time. So I love that pause. So the feint there is in the lack of movement, the lack of anything going on. So I think those are really just, I dig those types of feints. I think we need to up our feint game. And I know we've done drills where we're throwing feints. We really got to work our different types of feints. Aside from what we do in class, you should be working your feints, whether you're in a bag class and the instructor's like, all right, 1-1-2. You should be throwing feints in addition to your 1-1-2. You should be you should be doing all the things that we do during, even if it's just a 1-1-2. You can make that combination super involved. It can have all sorts of different elements. For your shadow boxing, when you're shadow boxing, you should be working your feints. All right, anyway, that's the feint stuff. Yeah. Oh, that's it. All right, thank you.